in Bachelor Nation. As always, I am your host, Fiona Zarink, and I am joined by the wonderful Gianna Gravelisi. Happy Monday, Gianna. How was your weekend? I'm so excited to talk all things Bachelor.
Oh, Fiona, happy Monday to you too. My weekend was fabulous. I was actually in Disney World this weekend, so just fresh off the plane, back to reality. How was your weekend?
Oh my God, nothing as magical as that. Good for you. Getting out there, seeing some true Disney magic. I love it. I was home doing laundry, just the boring usual stuff, but it was good. It was relaxing. All right, you guys, we have so much to talk about in Bachelor Nation every week, and of course, this week is no different. We're gonna kick things off with an update from one of Bachelor Nation and my own personal faves, Kelley Flanagan. As we recently just talked about, Kelley and former Bachelor Peter Weber have called it quits for good. She did a podcast interview explaining that, they kind of broke up, kind of got back together, but now it is officially the end. And it looks like Kelley did the thing that I think a lot of us do when you're going through a breakup, and that is the full hair reset. New color, new cut, new you. I think it's such a common post-breakup move, and she went for it. She shared her new look on Instagram. The curtain bangs that are trendy right now, some fresh highlights. She looked absolutely gorgeous. But you guys, in a crazy stroke of bad luck, later that day, she shared that she accidentally set her hair on fire, which cannot even tell you, my heart goes out to her so much because that is truly a nightmare. She explained to her fans, I went to plug my computer charger in, bent over, and my hair just got completely fried in her candle. She wrote, what the heck did I just do? As you guys can see in that photo, her little ponytail got all singed. I have to say, she remained calm. She made light of the situation, used it as an opportunity to ask fans if she should go even lighter, because like I said, she lightened things up with the highlights. I don't even know what to say, Gianna. I just was shocked by this. I loved the new hair. I think maybe she could pull off lighter. I mean, what do you make of this crazy turn of events?
This just cracks me up, the whole situation, because first off, it was a breakup glow up. So that we all have been there. We've all dyed our hair after some crazy life experience, specifically a breakup. And I think she looks fabulous. And then the fact that she's basically vlogging her hair being lit on fire in her Insta stories, this is just something that I would do because anytime something unfortunate happens to me, I turn right to Instagram and I'm like, guys, has this happened to you? Why'd this happen to me? Somebody help me instead of just like rationalizing the situation. So I love that she's on Instagram sharing this with us. It just shows like her funny side, her humor. And it cracks me up, Fiona, because I don't know if you know, this was a Bath and Body Works 3-wick candle. Those candles that we all love oh so much. These candles that I actually have 5 of them right behind my laptop. I'm looking at all of them and I have one lit right next to me. Like I could step on this. It's actually on the ground. So it's just so funny and I can totally relate to her. So, maybe she will go lighter and maybe in the process she can get a little conditioning treatment on that fried spot.
Ooh, I know. I was like, first of all, I'm so with you. Those candles are everywhere in my room. They can be a hazard. We are all obsessed. It is such a funny thing that everyone goes for. Also, yes, I think she's gonna, turn lemons into lemonade or whatever the phrase is. I think she's gonna get a cute little refresh, maybe some new layers, chop up some of those pieces, give herself even more of a bang. I can see it now. It's gonna be so cute. I have to say, when I turned, I think it was 10, I set my hair on fire momentarily blowing out my birthday candles. And my hair looked very similar to that. And I did have to cut a chunk of it out, but it was able to be sort of masqueraded as just some shorter layers. So I have hope for her. I think she's gonna be fine. And I know she's gonna be gorgeous no matter what. My heart goes out to her that her glow up moment, as you called it, got a little derailed. But I think her overall life glow up is gonna keep staying on track. Before we move on from gorgeous Miss Kelley, you guys, if you are just tuning in and you are not already subscribed, make sure you do and ring the bell just so that you know we can keep you in the loop and all things Bachelor Nation, and of course so you don't miss out on any of our future lives. All right, with that being said, let's talk about the latest from Mr. Matt James. He has totally wiped his Instagram profile clean after his breakup with Rachel Kirkconnell, the fallout from after the final rose. This is the start of a new Bachelor-free chapter of his life. A source exclusively told E! News, quote, Matt wants a fresh start now that his Bachelor season has ended. He is ready for new beginnings, and that is one of the reasons he cleared his Instagram page. He's really focusing on himself right now, what's important to him. The insider said the show was very toxic and taxing on his mental health, and he's glad it's over. I just have to say, yeah, duh, of course. I can't imagine how anyone could go through the reality TV experience that Matt James went through and not be exhausted. More power to him. If anyone deserves a clean slate, I feel like it's Matt.
I totally agree with you, Fiona. I mean, going on a reality TV show in and of itself is very mentally tolling. I learned in my reality TV class in college that they actually do a mental wellness check for all contestants or casts of reality shows. So, fun fact for you, they try to see if you're mentally stable before you go in because they know they're going to make you mentally unstable while you're actually in there. So, I can't imagine what he went through on the show. And then to have the huge scandal with Rachel and Chris, and then all of this stuff happened on top of it. And he was in the spotlight the whole time. He was getting criticized for not only the moves he was making on the show, kissing with his eyes open. People were making fun of him for. People were making fun of him for all these little things. And then there was the pressure of the conversation with his father. There was the pressure of, now we know that Rachel had a huge situation for her on social media. So he was undergoing everything and more, So I totally understand why he's doing this. And, it's like we just saw Rachel Lindsay do the same thing to her Instagram. People were really coming at her. So she just decided to take a little break. Maybe this is his version of a new break, like the source said, a fresh start. And I don't blame him at all. So I'm excited to see what his first post will be.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that is truly going to be like the reset moment. I think, one of the things that I thought of while we were prepping for this stream was it's so hard, no matter how your journey on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette ends, whether you walk away from it in love, in a relationship, there are so many eyes on you, so much pressure, people waiting for you to fail, people, hoping you succeed. And then if you don't succeed, you feel like you're letting those people down. Both sides of that coin is difficult. And then there is walking away from it single, when people can say, oh, you wasted my time. Oh, you weren't a good bachelor, right? And then there's what Matt went through, which was truly finding love, losing love for unbelievably difficult and heavy and complex reasons, dealing with hate for, following his own path, what was right for him. Oh my goodness, he has truly just gone through it. Circling back to Matt and Rachel, the source actually did go on to explain that they are currently not in touch. They said it ended badly and there is no chance they will ever get back together. Matt truly loved Rachel and it was devastating that he had to end the relationship. And as we mentioned, these quotes are obviously coming from a source, so we don't know who said them or exactly how accurate their information is, but that sentiment that he, was really in love and that he is devastated totally, feels 100% spot on to me, just based on, look at this photo right there, their emotions during after the final rose and any interview that they've done afterwards as well. Matt just stopped by the Bill Simmons podcast and shared that he's not dating right now, which I feel like, thank God. He's just focusing on working on himself. He admitted that he hasn't really had time to fully process everything that's happened since the camera stopped rolling. He said, I'm exhausted. I need to take a step back and take in everything and process. He shares that he plans on getting back into meaningful work in the community and centering himself around projects that are going to elevate the work that he has been doing. So, getting back to basics, focusing on, the non-romantic side of life, what's important to him, what makes him happy. I think this is totally understandable, and if I haven't made this obvious, I think it's the right call.
You're so right. It is absolutely the right call. And we need to think about this from a personal perspective. I mean, I feel like most of us have been through a breakup, and what are the steps that you take on your own? Maybe you delete the pictures off of social media. You step back, you take some time to yourself. Maybe you don't date for a little bit. And he's doing just exactly that. And it makes it much harder for him because, like you said, Fiona, there's such an expectation. Are these couples going to stay together? Are they going to get back together? What are they doing? Where are they on their Insta story? Like, they in the same location? They are under such a microscope. So I think that him just archiving his posts, getting rid of them, starting fresh is definitely the right move. I don't see how he could have gone on to live a normal life after The Bachelor, just keeping things where they were at, especially where his season just ended a week ago. So it's going to take time for him, and it's going to take time for all of us, but hopefully he can do what he needs to do in the meantime. And I'm excited to see that he's focusing on, getting back to working in the community. I think that's great for him, and he can be such an advocate. Maybe he'll take his work being such an advocate for, people of color for the Bachelor franchise, and then he can be a voice for them along with Rachel Lindsay too. So we're going to see him hopefully, act on that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he already had such a platform before being The Bachelor, right? He had a crazy following on social media. Obviously, Bachelor Nation loved him through his friendship with Tyler Cameron. And now his platform is even bigger. And he definitely isn't shying away, even in these moments, right? Right after the final roast, he's done, interview with Good Morning America, interview on this podcast. Like, he is using the platform he's been given to speak up, speak out. He's already called for more diversity moving forward in the franchise. I totally agree with you. I think that he is going to be right there with Rachel Lindsay, encouraging the franchise to move forward, right? His season, we've said this so many times, was supposed to be a reset, a really positive step. And while it wasn't exactly that, it definitely got the ball rolling on super important conversations that clearly needed to have been had. So in a way, he selflessly went through it so that the franchise as a whole, I think, could truly get to the stage that it needs to be. So obviously, we are going to keep up with Matt's journey wherever it takes him. I hope one day it includes, finding some love. I don't necessarily have any hope that we will see it play out on reality TV. I mean, I can't imagine Matt joining a Paradise season at this point. I mean, can you, Gianna?
No, I really don't think that is in his future plans. If it is, good for him, all power to him, but I just don't see that being good for his mental state at all. I mean, if he takes the time to recover and he wants to, again, that's his choice, totally up to him, but I just really don't see that happening realistically. So
No, I'm totally with you. And I feel like, you know what? I have no doubt he had the most applications ever. There are women out there who are going to find him, probably be the right fit. I have no doubt he's going to be, on a really, really good path very, very soon. In the meantime, we have to talk about some pretty wild Chris Harrison rumors. And honestly, I don't mean to sound like Chris Harrison, but this could be the most dramatic development yet in this whole Chris Harrison saga, if I do say so myself. It looks like, emphasis on looks like, you guys, there's no confirmation here, but it looks like he may be gearing up to sue the franchise. It is being reported that he has retained power attorney Brian Friedman. Now, if you don't know who Brian Friedman is, I didn't either, but you're probably familiar with the fact that Gabrielle Union just recently had a dispute with America's Got Talent. Last year, she complained of racism and a toxic environment on the show and had been let go as a judge. She obviously retained Brian as counsel. It was a hot mess in and of itself, but Brian was the guy who got her through that, and now Chris has hired him. It is unclear what, if any, legal actions he is truly considering taking, but a friend of Chris's told Page Six on Friday that after the way he has been treated by producers and executives over the past couple of weeks, he has run out of cheeks to turn. He's ready to tell the truth about how things really work over there, and he has plenty of evidence to back him up. So, I just feel like the only thing that comes to mind is like, whoa. Because last we'd heard from Chris Harrison, he did that Good Morning America interview, plans to return to the franchise. You know, he is so excited, he loves the show, and he's excited for the work and, you know, what's to come and continuing on this journey of progress. Then, of course, we got the Tayshia and Kaitlyn Bristowe hosting announcement, but baked into that announcement was, you know, we still support Chris Harrison on the journey and the time that he wants to take and, like, look forward to the future. So this hiring of a lawyer does not fit that narrative to me. So either something really crazy is going on, or maybe it's absolutely nothing. But I don't know, Gianna, after everything we've been through, I don't think it's absolutely nothing. What do you think?
I'm with you. I don't think it's nothing. And I've actually been reading conspiracy theories. I usually don't do this, but I have read these Chris Harrison conspiracies that the producers were setting him up for that interview with Rachel Lindsay. They were setting him up for failure by telling him what to say and kind of telling him to support Rachel Kirkconnell and back her up. So he didn't even like want to be saying that. That was one theory. And then the other theory was that he was planning on coming back to host for this next season of The Bachelorette, where we have Tayshia and Kaitlyn, but he was completely blindsided. And as he said, like, you know, I have plans on returning very soon. And then we got word of our two new hosts. And allegedly he didn't know about that, and he was completely blindsided by it. Again, those are just the two conspiracies that I saw online, but you never know how true they may or may not be. So it's just interesting because I can't think of what else this hiring of a lawyer could be if it wasn't something really serious. You know, we all know behind the scenes of reality TV it isn't all, you know, rainbows and butterflies. It is kind of corrupt. The ethics of reality TV are not the best in some cases. So maybe it is this way for the Bachelor franchise. And who knows, maybe this Chris Harrison will become a new, like, investigative journalist for the franchise or something will come out. But at this point, him hiring a lawyer, I don't think that anyone as an audience member is going to be behind him on this decision as of right now in terms of this past scandal and what has happened with him. So it is something, but we won't find out for a little bit, I think, at this rate.
I know. I mean, it's interesting because that second conspiracy, it's so crazy to me that, like, this is a thought that I had, and now there are, like, fully fledged theories out there about it. I thought, well, shoot, maybe this is a signal that Chris is, you know, getting his ducks in a row. He's looking at his contract. He's looking at, you know, the emails he's copied on and starting to feel like maybe there's a breakdown in communication and he's getting iced out. Like, maybe he's just doing everything he can to make sure that if the moment comes, you know, that they're going to say, hey, actually, you're out, buddy. You know, it's Tayshia and Kaitlyn for good. Or actually, you know, next season, we think it would be really fun to bring back 2 bachelors. You know, whatever may or may not be in the pipeline, he might just be starting to feel the heat, to feel the pressure. And granted, I don't even know, I don't think I have an idea of how I would feel about that right at this very moment, right? I mean, we've seen a lot of progress. We've heard a lot of apologies. There are a lot of big changes on the horizon. So I think this is just kind of that next, like, we're going to have to wait and see. How is this going to play out? And honestly, not only how is this going to play out, but let's just play out the conspiracy for a second. Let's just say that they do push Chris out and it turns into a legal battle. no matter what side of the Chris Harrison scandal you fall on, that's a disappointing end to a journey with a franchise, right? Disappointing whether or not you're disappointed in Chris entirely and you never want to forgive him or give him any room to grow, or if you were ready to forgive him. To go that many years with a franchise and to go out on such an ugly note is a shame, you know? This is what, 20 plus years? I mean, that's crazy.
I totally agree with you. I think that, again, for him to actually go and hire a lawyer, it has to be something deeply rooted in something even bigger than we can even speculate at this point, you know? And it's like, as you said again, Fiona, no matter what side you're on, no matter if you love him, you hate him, you support him, or you don't, in this situation,
Mm-hmm.
it is kind of sad to see that the franchise, was hurting other people. It was not being fair. It has to literally work on its equality in 2021. And now to have their longtime host literally go against them by hiring a lawyer. I think that this says something about not Chris Harrison. This says something about the franchise. And I feel like they've definitely been getting around all these little blips in the system and bumps in the road along the way. But I think that something is going to come out in the future. And as much as we all love The Bachelor, who knows? Will this be inevitably the end? Will the Bachelor franchise ultimately come to an end because of this? Or will something come out that makes fans never want to watch it ever again? Who knows? But I'm definitely with you. It's not fun to see this happen at all.
Right. And I mean, to your point, Chris is not only the face, the host, etc. He is a producer. Now, I don't know the ins and outs of what that entails, how involved he is, if he's the guy truly calling the creative shots, or if, the producer role is different for him than like some of the other executive producers behind the scenes, right? But in theory, for a guy who's been along with a program that long, if there are skeletons in that closet worse than the ones, that's plain to the eye to see, right? That we're all calling out and saying, hey, this needs to change, we want progress. If there's anything else in there, Chris is going to be the guy that knows. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how all of this plays out. I feel like every time we turn around, this is one of those Bachelor stories that just doesn't end, right? I mean, every time we turn, there's a new angle, there's a new, potential drama brewing up. But if we look at the big picture now, it seems as though Matt is at least, finding peace. Rachel, Kirkconnell is on her path to journey, enlightenment, working on herself. Rachel Lindsay has said her piece. So Chris is kind of that last guy to figure out what is coming next.
Yeah, and I think that it's so interesting to me because we know producers like to cause drama within the show itself. They like to cause drama among the cast or, The Bachelor with one girl or another. We know that there is some behind the scenes work. It's just baffling to me that are they doing this outside of the show for more clout, as we say. It's just right. I don't even have words for it at this point because it's so interesting. But I am glad to see that everyone is on their path and like hopefully maybe Chris Harrison can move on to something better if The Bachelor wasn't working out for him as a host and like he can grow from this situation. I think we can all grow. The franchise itself can grow and who knows what will be next for everyone. We'll just have to wait and see.
I know it'll definitely be crazy. And I mean, the good news is no matter what happens long term with Chris, we know that this next upcoming season with Katie, hosted by Tayshia and Kaitlyn, is going to be a breath of fresh air. And just knowing what we know about Tayshia, about Kaitlyn, and about Katie, all of their personalities, to me, I feel like they are going to mesh so well together. I can see those ladies just delivering some really great positive girl power energy that I think we all kind of could need right now, right? I think it's going to be a really fun season.
Yes. I said this a couple episodes ago. I cannot believe that there are two hosts and they're both women for The Bachelorette when we're focusing on women. And I think that again, I've said this before, I can't wait to see women guiding women through their journey. It's going to be totally different than obviously we love Chris Harrison and how he wasn't even in the show that much, like maybe like a couple minutes if you put it all together out of that hour. But We loved him when he just came in and out, pre-scandal, of course, but it's going to be great to see the chemistry that these women have. And it's going to definitely be a different dynamic rather than having a male host put their insight in for a woman. We go through love differently. And I think women's emotions are processed differently than men. So it's going to be great that we have not one, but two women to guide the next bachelorette. And now we have two bachelorettes. So we got 2 and 2 here. There's so much power. There's so much going on. And although there are going to be, 30 men, I think that the women are definitely still going to carry this show all the way through. And I just can't wait to watch all of it. So.
Oh, I am so with you. And we know, I mean, I have such high hopes that the casting, team, whatever, did as good of a job casting these men as the group they put together for Claire and, then Tayshia, because I felt like week to week, granted, there was some drama, right? We had Yosef, and then there was the Bennett and whatever his name was, right? Like we had drama moments, but it wasn't to the level. I mean, just think about Matt's season, right? That was truly a toxic energy, a toxic house. It was a completely different vibe. So they definitely did a good job, all things considered, casting guys who, sure, we're going to get some drama, but they all felt mature. They all felt ready to be there. They felt smart and intelligent. And I think that sometimes we see, I don't want to hate on past seasons, but let's just say not so much that. So someone like Katie, who really is no nonsense, I want them to do right by her, and Michelle, of course, but they have some more time, right, to get all of their ducks in a row for that season. So I don't know. I'm excited. We have talked about a little bit on this channel the group of men that she's cast. There are about 34 of them, I think. They are handsome. I mean, have you had a chance to look through this group yet, Gianna?
Oh, yes. I mean, I was looking at this group when Reality Steve was posting like their Facebook pages a couple of weeks ago saying that potential guest, potential guest. And I'm so excited. They're definitely all handsome. I hope that there's going to be definitely a dynamic that gives us a little bit of drama without that toxic energy. But I hope that these men are ready, especially for a woman like Katie. Like, we want to see her thrive, and we need someone that matches her level of confidence and that won't try to bring her down in any way. So I'm very excited. And, I was honestly creeping on their pages a little bit, but most of them went private. So that's a big tell all right there. So I can't wait to meet them on this next season for Katie and Michelle. And I'm so excited to see Michelle because a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about who we would have liked to see as the Bachelorette if it weren't for Katie. And my answer was Michelle. And now we have her and we have both of them. So my heart's happy and I just cannot wait to see them. And I hope no men are mean to either of these women because I think both of them are so powerful that they're really just going to have all of them wrapped around their fingers within the first week. So let's just see how this season plays out.
Oh my God, I am so with you. You guys, on that note, if you have any questions, comments, concerns about, honestly, any of the many things going on in Bachelor Nation, we want to hear from you. So send them our way. We're going to try to get to as many comments as we can. It has been an eventful few days in Bachelor Nation. So we just want to know what you guys have thought of it all. First up from Melissa S. She says, hello, ladies. Hello, Melissa. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love that you are here to talk all things Bachelor with us. And honestly, this is not Bachelor related, but I think your dog is so cute.
I was going to say the same thing, Fiona. That dog was absolutely adorable.
Oh, man.
And we have another question from Christy Wolf. Do we know when Katie's season starts? We do, don't we, Fiona? We have a speculation of, I'm pretty sure, late fall, I believe, if I'm not wrong.
I think so. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
the filming
something like
actually has already started or will be starting soon within the couple of weeks and will be premiering in late fall, according to many sources online. We don't know the exact date. We will definitely keep you guys updated on that, though.
Yes, absolutely. The minute we hear, of course, we will all have to mark our calendars. All right, another comment here. This says, Pokachu, I hope I am pronouncing that right. Pokachu says, hello. If Chris is hiring a lawyer to go against the show, then that must confirm that we have seen the last of him on the franchise. I don't know how can that relationship be mended after that. Yes, I am so with you. I think this is where things are either going to get really ugly or, this is a complete coincidence and he hired this guy to help him, with a real estate property purchase and we're all jumping to conclusions, right? I mean, if you're going to take legal action against your employer, whether rightfully so, wrongly so, doesn't even matter. At that point, I think lines in the sand are drawn and we're not going to see him, helping whoever's next on their journeys. So it's going to be interesting. I think as more details continue to emerge, we're all going to have to decide, like, how do we feel? Because this could be the next roller coaster for the franchise, truly.
Yeah, I mean, that comment was a great point. I mean, if you're hiring a lawyer against a show that you've been with for forever, that is the line that's drawn. Like, how can you bounce back after that? So I think that it's definitely the end for him on this franchise. But I truly don't think it's the end for him as a person, as a host. I think he's going to move on to who knows what, but maybe he'll come out again in another interview or something. But Christy Wolf has asked if Chris Harrison got fired from ABC. Now, he did not get fired officially from ABC. ABC released a statement. They said that they were just taking a step back, fighting for equality on the show. And Chris Harrison did come out in an interview and say that he himself was taking a step back from the franchise. So he was not fired by any means. But now, as we discussed, his step back has now been, according to a source and speculation, maybe an official line drawn on his end now that he has a lawyer and he probably is going against the franchise. But for now, no official firing has been made and no official ties have been cut between Chris Harrison and ABC. So we will just have to keep updated and stay in the loop with all of this Bachelor craziness, even though the show isn't even on anymore. So what else can we expect from this franchise?
I know. It's truly every day something new. All right, another one from Melissa. She says, I think Chris really needs to actually step aside, stop doing interviews, work on yourself, learn, and do better. This has been a fairly common criticism. And I do agree with you to a point. I think that there's something to be said about, like, who doesn't have the luxury of sort of going into a bunker and learning, because at that point I think everyone would be like, well, where's Chris? Why isn't he talking? Like, why hasn't he proven any progress, right? So I think there's like a line he's gonna have to toe here of doing the work, keeping his head down, and actually, fulfilling the promises he made in those apologies. But also, if we never hear from him again, there's gonna feel, maybe unfairly so, but I think a lot of people would be on Twitter asking, like, well, where's the evidence? So I don't know. I don't envy him. He's in a difficult position. I do think that he was genuine in his desires to learn from this. So I would like the opportunity to see what that learning looks like, to get to see where this journey takes him and how he can set a positive example moving forward, because ultimately that's what he said he wanted to do, right? So it will be nice to hopefully one day feel like this wasn't just talk. Because I think it was Rachel Lindsay who said something along the lines of, like, apologies are great, but, like, right now these are just words. So it'll be interesting. So many levels of Bachelor Nation. I feel like right now we're waiting. We're just, held in limbo. What's going to happen next? But that is the beauty of this franchise and why we all tune in. You guys, those are all of the questions and comments we have time for right now. But if we didn't get to yours, hop in the general comment section of this video. Let us know, because we want to hear everything that's on your mind, of course, about all things Bachelor Nation all the time. Again, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell, because we will keep you updated on all things Bachelor Nation. As always, I am your host, Fiona Zaring. I was joined by the wonderful Gianna Gravelisi. If you want to come say hi, my social handle is @FionaZaring. Gianna, where can they find you?
They can find me at Gianna Gravelisi.
Amazing. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in live with us, and we will see you soon. Bye.